Hi guys, and welcome back to the channel. So today I'm going to show you how to not only cook the perfect tri-tip steak, but also how to then cut it across the grain so that all that hard work that you've done to make that steak absolutely amazing isn't lost by cutting it wrongly and having a tough piece of meat at the end of it. So let's do it. So you can see on this tri-tip, so normally the grain on the tri-tip goes in two different directions, but this one seems to be going pretty much in the same direction. You've got a slight variation here, but then it's very thin. And if you look, you can see all the fibres of the meat are running this way. You can separate them a little bit, but they're all running this way. So it's really important to remember, because when you cook it you may not be able to see that quite clearly, but what you're going to look to do is slice it this way. You're going to go across the grain. And the reason you're doing that is that if you've got all those fibres and you're putting it in your mouth and you're actually chewing a long fibre, then that's going to make it really, really tough. But if you cut it across the grain, so those little bits of fibre are really small, then when you're chewing it, it's just so much easier to break up, and it will make the difference between a really, really tender steak and a tough old boot steak, even though they could be cooked exactly the same. Okay, to help you understand a little bit more what I mean about short and long fibres, I want you to think about the fibres that make up this particular rope. And when you think about how strong rope is, you can think about tug of war and the fact you've got all these lads really pulling on basically just what is lots of tiny fibres all wrapped together to make one long piece of rope. So meat fibres, just like rope, are made up of lots of different strands, and as you can see on this diagram, you've got lots and lots of tiny little strands that are wrapped together to make one long strand, or the strand that's in the actual muscle which makes up the meat. And it's those long strands that all, when they're wound together and you chew along the strand, that's what's going to make it really, really tough. So this last diagram is really showing you what that means in terms of chewing. So you can see on the middle and the left one where you're chewing along a long strand, it's going to give sensation of the meat being tough. But the one on the right where it's a short strand and you chew that, it's going to give the sensation of the meat being tender. I'd like to give a shout out to Steve Gale at Smoke Trails Barbecue. He helped me find this particular diagram. Please go and check his channel out. He's got a lot of great content over there, and I personally learned a lot. But also, don't forget, if you like this video and you like what you see so far, please subscribe to the channel and hit that like button. Lets YouTube know that you're enjoying this content, and it means an awful lot to me, so thank you. But for now, let's get back to cooking. Today we're going to cook it on the Weber. I'm going to use a cast iron skillet. I'm going to sear this really hard. I'm going to add loads of butter, some rosemary and some garlic, but we're going for like a medium, even a medium rare on this one. You've got to treat this piece of meat right. So if you overcook it, it's going to be a complete travesty. So let's get it on. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to use is some avocado oil. The reason I'm using avocado oil is because it's got a really high smoke point. So what that smoke point means is that oil, when it reaches a certain temperature, will start to break down and start to smoke. So like olive oil, sunflower oil, that sort of thing. So you've got quite a low one. Tallow's got a low smoke point as well, but avocado's got a really high smoke heat point, so therefore it won't start breaking down and deteriorating and possibly even tainting the flavour of your food. So I'm treating this really, really carefully today. So it's just going to be avocado oil. Normally when I cook a steak, I would season it up, at least with salt and pepper. But because I want to show you the grain, I want to show you all the colour on this, I'm purposely not seasoning it. So please don't hate me in the comments. This is just for demonstration. We're going to eat it later, but I'll season up at that point, so it'll be fine. But for the time being, I'm just going to leave it just with oil. Okay, so we've got a pan screaming hot now, and it's time to put this on. So the first time you put it on, that's when you're going to get your really hard sear. So we've got to be careful not to burn this. So I'm literally going to keep flipping it. So you're starting to feel that beautiful colour already. But again, like I said, I don't want to burn it, so we're going to keep flipping, keep flipping, keep flipping. So again, just going to flip that over Okay, we're starting to get that beautiful crust starting to form, and that is one of the nice things about like cast iron skillet. It does some beautiful, beautiful crust on this. So by this point in the cook, I've flipped it quite a few times. I've also caught the edges as well, and as you can see, that crust is forming beautifully, but it's time to temp it. So I've got my thermopen. So we're going to go for like a medium rare. So this which is about 130 Fahrenheit internal. I'll link centigrade down below. I don't work in centigrade, unfortunately. So at the moment we're showing 76 there and about 84 there. So we're a little bit way off there, and obviously where you've got thicker and thinner parts of it, you've got a slight difference in temperature. So just keep monitoring it really, and just keep flipping it. Oh yeah, now we're starting to get a really beautiful crust on that. Look at that. That is looking good. So the internal temperature's reached about 120, and so you've got a beautiful crust on this steak. Now it's time to put the final touches and finish it off. It's time to add in our garlic and a humongous and unhealthy bit of butter. And then fresh from the garden, tomato. It's when you really need your glove, because now you're going to have to baste this over. So I like to have it away from the fire a bit, so you're not burning yourself too much. Get those flavours on that steak. Okay, so we've hit 130 now. It's time to take this off and let it rest. Really important. We do not want to cook the steak, but we need to give it time to rest so those juices can redistribute across the steak and make it really tasty and delicious. Which is what we want at the end of the day. So, let's do it. Okay, so we're all finished now, and you can see the beautiful colour on the steak. So it's a beautiful golden brown, but you still really clearly see all of these fibres on the meat. You can see that they're still going across this way. So we need to cut across this, and as we talked about earlier on, is so that we have really short fibres, and short fibres will give us a really nice, beautiful, tender bite. But I'm going to show you both ways. I'm going to show you the wrong way and the right way. First things first, let's cut this down the middle and actually see how this steak turned out. Look at that, you've got that beautiful blush all the way through. It's rested a really nice long time, but you still see it's juicy, succulent, and that is a beautiful thing. So the wrong way to cut it is with the grain. Okay, so you can see here all the fibres, and then running all this way, and you can see as you try and pull it, it's really difficult. And I'll do it on this camera again. So as you try and pull it, the fibres are tough because you've got them running this way, and that just makes it incredibly tough. So let's cut it the right way. So turn the steak around, and then going across the grain. So let's do one this way. And you can immediately see, if I grab this bit as well, so you can immediately see the difference in the grain. Okay, so on this you've got all the short fibres, and you can see that there. On this one you've got all the long fibres. So if I try and put them side by side, you can see a quite clear difference. This is good, this is bad. And if I pull this apart, you'll see it just goes really easily. There's no difficulty in that at all. So look, you can see there, this will just pull apart incredibly easily. I really want to try it now. Alright, good. So let's cut up the rest of this, but do it the right way. So really nicely across the grain. You can see this is beautiful. I mean, look at that. That is stunning. Look, I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you have, please give it the old like. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and you can find me on Instagram and TikTok. But until the next video, I'll see you then.